A stray dog and her babies sneaked into my house, and the female dog desperately begged me not to drive them away. I thought it was just another quiet morning, until I found a stray dog hiding under my sink, protecting two newborn puppies like a secret she couldn't bear to lose. Something small, something shuffling. I crept toward the sound, still half asleep, and slowly opened the cabinet under the sink. And that's when I saw her. Curled into a tight, trembling ball was a dog, muddy, thin, and wide-eyed. Her ribs were visible, her fur matted with dirt and old leaves. She didn't bark, didn't growl. She just looked at me with eyes that were more tired than afraid, as if she had used up everything she had left just to get here. I froze. And then I saw movement beside her, a tiny, wiggling form nestled close to her belly. A puppy. No, two puppies. Newborns, their eyes still closed, their ears still folded against their heads. They pressed into her for warmth, unaware of the world they had been born into. My heart twisted. I sat down slowly on the bathroom floor, just outside the cabinet's reach. I whispered softly, "Hey, it's okay. You're safe." I didn't expect her to understand, but some part of me hoped the gentleness in my voice would make it through. For the next half hour, I stayed there unmoving. She didn't come closer, but she didn't try to leave either. That I took as a good sign. Her breathing stayed quick but steady, her eyes locked onto mine. The puppy squirmed, squeaked, and then settled. Eventually, I got up, gently closing the door behind me. I didn't go far, I just needed to think. A decision made quietly. I paced the hallway, sipping cold tea. How had she gotten in? Later, I found it, a narrow opening behind the cabinet, likely left over from a long-forgotten plumbing repair. It led straight outside, into the gap beneath the porch. A tight squeeze, barely wide enough for her slim frame. She must have smelled warmth, maybe even heard the faint hum of life inside, and followed instinct. She didn't want to be saved, she just wanted a safe place to give birth. She had chosen this house. She had chosen me. The first steps of trust. That morning, I gathered everything I could find. An old blanket, a shallow bowl, the leftover wet cat food tucked behind the fridge. I returned to the bathroom and gently slid the bowl toward her. She flinched, pressing herself tighter into the shadows. But she didn't run. She eyed the food warily, then looked at me again. It took 10 minutes for her to move. She stretched her neck, sniffed, then began to eat, carefully, then desperately, gulping it down like she hadn't tasted food in days. Maybe she hadn't. After she finished, she nudged her puppies closer to her side with her nose, curling her tail protectively around them. It was a small, quiet moment, but it felt like a victory. I sat there for another hour, whispering now and then, letting her grow used to my scent, my presence. Her eyes no longer looked wild, just tired. By that evening, she had taken another piece of food directly from my hand. Day 2, a name and a nudge of purpose. I started calling her Luna. It felt right. She was silent and watchful, a soft presence hidden in shadows, like the moon behind clouds. She didn't respond to the name at first, but when I said it, she would lift her ears ever so slightly. That was enough for me. The puppies began to move more. I learned there were 3 of them, not 2. The smallest one was nearly hidden beneath the folds of the towel. They still couldn't see, but they knew her scent, knew her warmth. They suckled constantly and whimpered softly in their sleep, their little paws twitching. I cleared out the space beneath the cabinet and placed a new blanket, some clean towels, and a pillow barrier to keep the draft out. Luna let me work, tense but unmoving. When I was done, I watched them for a while. The soft rhythm of her breathing, the way her tail twitched gently when the smallest pup crawled toward her. It was all incredibly quiet, and yet so deeply moving. Day 4, life settles in. By the 4th day, Luna would come out from under the cabinet while I was in the room. Slowly, with cautious steps, she would stretch her legs and drink from the water bowl. She had even begun to wag her tail faintly when I brought food. She slept more deeply now, probably for the first time in weeks. Each puppy was growing stronger. Their coats had started to fill out. One was nearly all black with a small white spot on its nose. Another was a sandy beige. The third, the smallest, was a mix of gray and white, with a wrinkled forehead that gave it a permanently puzzled expression. I found myself laughing more, quietly, gently, in a way I hadn't in months. Week 2, vet visit and revelations. I took Luna to the vet when the pups were about 10 days old. I called ahead, explained the situation, and they cleared a space for us. She didn't fight me when I placed her gently into the carrier, just looked at me with tired eyes that said, "I trust you now." She was underweight, but otherwise healthy. The puppies, the vet said, "We're doing well. Strong heartbeats. Clean lungs. They'll be a handful in a few weeks," she added, smiling. On the way home, Luna leaned against the carrier door, eyes closed, relaxed. I stroked her ear through the mesh and whispered, "You did good, Luna." Week 3, a new rhythm. The bathroom was no longer a temporary hiding place. It became a nursery. The cabinet door stayed open. I added a soft lamp in the corner and taped up the hole to keep the drafts out. I moved in a small heater, added toys, and a low basket when the pups began to crawl. Luna no longer flinched at noise. She followed me from room to room, watched from the kitchen doorway as I cooked, even lay beside me while I read at night. She still slept near the puppies, ever attentive, but she trusted me with them now. One afternoon, I found her lying on her side, eyes closed, while 2 of the pups climbed over her like a mountain. She didn't move, just let them explore. I sat down beside them, and one of the puppies crawled into my lap. It fell asleep there, twitching and snuffling. I didn't move for an hour. Week 4. Opening the door. I began to let Luna into the backyard. At first, she hesitated at the threshold, unsure if she was allowed. But when she stepped onto the grass, her tail lifted just a little. She sniffed the air, turned her face toward the sun, and closed her eyes. The pups began to waddle soon after. Tiny, wobbly steps at first, then bold little trots. They chased each other in slow, clumsy circles. One of them barked for the first time, a high-pitched squeak of joy. Luna ran after them, gently nudging them back when they wandered too far. I watched it all from the steps, warm tea in hand. My chest ached with something I couldn't quite name. Gratitude, maybe, or peace. Week 6, letting go, holding on. By now, they were ready to explore the rest of the house. They chewed on everything: shoes, socks, the corner of a chair leg. They played for hours, then collapsed into a pile of sleep. I took hundreds of photos, recorded their antics, and started sharing them with a local rescue group. Adoption interest began to grow. Emails trickled in. One family wanted to meet the beige pup. A woman recovering from surgery asked about the gray one. I knew they couldn't all stay, but I also knew they would leave this place stronger than they arrived. And Luna? She would stay with me. She had found her way into my life, like a shadow, through a crack. But now she was the light that filled the spaces I didn't know were dark. Final note: the ones who find us. It's been months since that chilly morning in early spring. The puppies are gone now, off to new lives, warm homes, children who adore them. I get photos sometimes. Updates. The gray one has a favorite blanket. The black one sleeps with a cat. The beige one likes to hide in laundry baskets. Luna is curled beside me as I write this, her head resting on my